Does my butt look big in these jeans? Oh, come on. You've done it. I've done it. Do we do it whenever we get dressed? Even that I ask the dog to weigh in. It's like that, right? All right. So if this is you though, it's not just vanity. I'm Debra Atkinson. I'm the founder of Flipping 50, and this is all about glutes. 17 exercises I'm going to show you. But here's what we do. We often go right for the big ones. The ones that we think are working our glutes may not be if we're either not in the right position or we're not quite ready for it. So you've heard of gluteal amnesia, and I'm not meaning to scare you, that's not the intention, but if your glutes aren't firing or you're in the wrong position, research tells us that could lead to trouble. Here we go. These are exercises most likely to make your glutes shine. This is a side lying plank. It's the top leg and the bottom leg that are working. This is a plank, right, in a rear leg extension with a flex knee. You can also do this with a straight one, but we've got a little more engagement with the flexion. Can you guess which one of these, as we go through, is most beneficial? This is a lift on the ball, a hamstring curl coming in with a bridge. This is a hip thrust, and this tool is called Bella Booty. By the way, if you like it, reach out to me and I'll let you know where to get it, but Bella Booty should get you to the right place. Makes just use of dumbbells, something that you can use for these hip thrusts, and don't discount them. So for the longest time, they kind of stood in the back shadows, and now they're having a day, they're having a moment, and there's a lot of good reason why. I'm going to show these again later as a single. Anything that you can do with two legs that you do unilaterally is actually going to be a little bit more beneficial to the glutes, right? So this makes, instead of a bar, makes it very comfortable. So what you can do is, if you've got dumbbells at home, or you take this with you and you're in a gym or a hotel gym, you can now do hip thrusts. And I like putting my shoulders back on a ball as opposed to the bench. Little tip here on form: make sure you keep your spine nice and long so you're not going to toss your head back and forth. So glutes, weights on the heels, you're squeezing through the glutes. That connection's really important for you to realize. So this is a hip thrust. Stay tuned to the end. I'm going to tell you which one of these is best for activation based on science. So a squat. But what am I doing? I'm doing it in a plie. So wide and slight turnout, significant actually. So you could do this more narrow. Somebody's hips watching inevitably are not most comfortable here, and you can do it narrow, but it's holding weight. Now, deadlifts are also having their day, but I want you to watch out. So notice what I'm doing: exaggerating. The hip pushes back first. So the hips go backward. Notice that as I'm coming down, and I get to about my knees. Those weights stay close to my body. You could be using a bar, but here's what I was teaching in this video. This is what I see a lot. In this, you're losing the glute, but you're going into stress and strain through the lower back. To the floor is not important. And if you're starting at the floor with a really heavy weight, you could be actually straining the back instead of training the glutes. So if you really want to wake up glutes, you're going to keep this limited range of motion, and you're going to do more good. We tend to think more, meaning more range of motion, is better. Not so much. So arching the back, coming down just to the point. I feel it in the glutes, but not in the lower back. My weight's in my heels. And I'm in my back, but I'm going to start probably only 30 to 45 degrees range of motion is optimal. A lot of people get carried away when they do two legs. So I will show later single leg, and I prefer it when I'm teaching. When we insert this into our 12-week programs, we go with one. Watch the difference. You're going to stand totally upright. Lift one leg back. There's a little balance piece in there. That means while you're on that one leg, you're already firing the glute medius. Remember that term. So that is responsible for things like IT band syndrome, piriformis syndrome, hip bursitis. We get neglected. That poor glute medius gets neglected. Here's a wall sit. Super easy, no equipment. Super important that you're seated with your hips, either level with your knees. And if you can't go down that low, there's still benefit here. You're going to probably work the quad more if you're higher, but you got to start somewhere, right? Weight on the heels is important. Here we go. So I'm in a plank position or a bridge position right now. It's a reversed or inverted plank, but I'm walking. So as I'm doing that, remember I'm on one leg, I'm using my glute a little bit more. Now watch this, just gets a little bigger, and here's that bridge, single leg bridge. Now I could be on a ball, I could be, with back on a bench, doing a little bit more range of motion that way. But if you don't have those things, you have everything you need right now at home. In fact, what are you doing? You could be doing this with me. So love these. This is a single leg bridge. And if you can do bridges on two legs and you think, well, this is not much work, try this and then tell me how you feel. Take two, call me in the morning. Because I promise this will encourage you to really emphasize that single glute medial muscle. And it's a little lazy, and you may find on one side more than the other. This is a hyper, as it's called. You can find machines in a gym, but you can actually recreate your own over a ball, or you can go into your kitchen and you can do this over the counter. If you can get a grip, and if you've got an island, that's going to work even better. But what you're doing is, notice the back is not moving, but I'm using pushing into the ball as the leverage for lengthening or extension, which the glutes are responsible for. Rear lunges. Now the key here, and somebody watching inevitably will say, I can't do those, hurts my knees. Probably that's partially due to your weight not being on your heels where it should be. That front heel is bearing the weight, not the ball of your foot. It's an important distinction. Now, these are some old exercises I've done, I don't know how long, since, 25, 30 years ago. So this is a little bit more of hamstring interaction, but when we do hip extension, we get the hamstring. But this is just a piece. So this is kind of a combination of hamstring and glutes. Straight leg lift from behind, this hip extension again. We're doing a little bit of lift, but again, the lovely thing about this, you need no equipment. You could be doing this here or put an ankle weight on your ankle, obviously. So watch this combination. So we go here, down and up, and hamstring curl and extend. So we've got the glutes firing and stabilizing. Last but not least, using another tool for hamstring curls, an extension or suspension tool. This is TRX, doesn't have to be brand name, but much more difficult. All right, now single leg squats. So I'm going to go to a target. Now, some of you can potentially come all the way down and do a pistol squat. I cannot, right? And I don't know that I'm going to really say that's something to achieve or to aim for. But if you can do this, let yourself down slowly. Now, you don't want a thud. If you're getting a thud when you land, you want a higher bench or target. They're easier to find by maybe going to your couch, your bed. So another one. Standing on one leg, remember that's firing that glute medial muscle, but I'm also opening and doing some abduction here with the other one. So they're both working. I'm also doing balance and core exercise whenever you're doing this. So you might have already guessed that yoga poses can be very core supportive. All right, I promised you I was going to give you the number one of all of these, and it is this. Don't forget, subscribe. If this has been helpful, let me know it. Subscribe, ding the bell, and I will see you on the flip side for more information and a better butt masterclass. Stay tuned, reach out, and I'll tell you details.